Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Plastic Fanatics, the late night Aftercast. I'm your host, Victory Saber 77. Hello. Um,
Hello.
Welcome to the show, everyone. We're going to be talking about Beast Wars first, and then we're going to move into some other things. We may talk about the Star Wars Rebels episode and talk about some other toy lines and Transformers, all that type of stuff. So, first off, let's get into some introductions and some hauls. So, starting us off, Charles.
What's up? You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Optimus4Prez.
Cool. What'd you get this week?
Just picked up Avengers Age of Ultron and Jurassic World on Blu-ray.
Sweet. Nice.
Cool.
Dalton?
Not a damn thing.
All right. Where can people find you?
You can find me pretty much everywhere, Adult Idiots TFs. Hoping to get some more videos up on YouTube here within the next few weeks. Got a major backlog.
Cool. Josh?
And this is just for this week, right? Not since the last time.
If you want to do last week, that's fine. I don't care.
We'll just do the past 2 weeks then. I got Hot Toys Kylo Ren. I got Hot Toys R2D2. I got the Hot Toys Batman from Batman Returns. I got the NECA Ultimate Kratos. I got a DC Superhero Girls, the 12-inch, like kind of Barbie doll style Batgirl. I got the 6-inch Batgirl. I got the Masterpiece Hot Rod. And I got the Marvel Legends Spider-Gwen. So that's all I can think of right now.
Awesome. How you like that, Kratos?
Dude, he is gonna be one of the top 5 best figures of 2016, I think.
Wow. Awesome. All right, moving down the line, Triple Changer Octane.
Just accept that you may never see me outside of this because I hate social media and I'm lazy.
Okay. You get anything this week?
No, for that matter, except for a can of Pringles I bought a few weeks ago, I've really not bought anything for fun in 5 months at least.
All right.
Wow.
Trends? How you doing?
Pretty new. Find me at
Good.
Trends5 at Twitter and Facebook. And no, not at this time. I don't have anything this week. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's all good. You're on time. Except we're late, but it worked. It's awesome.
Trent is like, I thought I was right on time. Horrible time to show up.
You can find me Victory Saber 77 on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook is right underneath my name there. And again, the live link is on my Facebook page. So if you want to join, go ahead. Click on the link. We don't care. You don't have to be knowledgeable in Transformers or into one certain thing. We're just like-minded collectors and enthusiasts that are just shooting the breeze right now. So as far as hauls for me. Let's see. Today I got the Combiner Wars Onslaught.
Cool.
I got the Combiner Wars Scattershot, but I sent that off to Josh, so he's gonna have that. I picked up the WWE Elite Brock Lesnar, and let's see what else I picked up. Picked up some other stuff. I don't know. Some other stuff, I can't remember. Some NECA stuff, Alien vs. Predator, and all that type of. But I think I said that last week. I don't remember what. That's it. I picked up my my beers that I usually drink. So anyone out there, I'm not sponsored, but this is my beer for this week. So there you go. Oh, and I picked up the little Shockwave. So that's cool. All right.
Cool.
So, since Dakota's not here, that's just too bad on him. But we are going to talk about Beast Wars, just kind of why there's hate towards Beast Wars. Going to go over a little bit of screen sharing, some stuff like that. Then we'll go into some other topics. I did see that I had a topic a little bit while back from Bricks on the Dollar, so I want to mention his topic that he had. So we'll talk about that, and let's get into some screen sharing. Let's see. There we go. We go to that, and we present to everyone. All right, you guys see the Beast Wars little thing, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so that's my thumbnail. So there we go. Going into some plugs, we got the Cybercast. We just finished episode 142, which had Pete Sinclair on from BotCon, Transformers Collectors Club. Go check that out. Lots of good information, and it's just good just talking to him and just having him on the show. So go check that out. I'm thinking it's in video form already. Or close to it, Josh, right?
No, but probably will after this show.
All right, cool. So go check that out after watch this one. And we got The Enter the Realm, episode 35, airs this Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on their YouTube channel. I have a link in the description. And also following that, the ROC Hangout, which is features the ROC ambassador, Tommy Barricade, and his co-host, Asian Kid Matt. So go check that out. It usually happens like 30 minutes after the ETR show. So definitely go check that out. They give you the live link. Get on there. I mean, like-minded. Awesome. All right. Getting into Beast Wars. Now, I can't see. Is Dakota finally in here?
Nope.
Down here. Okay. Well,
No.
shit out of luck, man. All right. So Beast Wars came out here in the United States in 1996. It came out here first. Then it just like, I guess, normal Transformers. It was a year later in Japan, pretty much, and it was short-lived also as far as episodes. But why so much hate for this show, or for this series in general? We have Beast Wars, then we never got this because we went on kind of a hiatus, but a little bit. But we got Beast Wars Second, Beast Wars Neo, that happened in Japan. So Beast Wars Second was in 1998. We have Beast Wars Neo in 1998 also, and they had some significant episodes, 43 for Beast Wars Second, the movie, and 35 for Neo. Then we went into Beast Machines. So I'm just going to go over this really quickly, and then we're going to go into the discussion here. And I know, Josh, you're going to be the con. Dakota was going to be the pro, but oh well.
He's not here to defend himself.
No, so it works. But we had Beast Machines and Beast Wars Returns is what it was called in Japan. For some reason, that came out later in Japan. It came out in 2004, where Beast Machines actually aired in 1999.
That's a big gap right there.
Yeah, not sure why, but this is where it all started. No longer were we having the Autobots taking on the Decepticons. We had the Maximals versus the Predacons. You had their activation codes for the first time, where they actually had to shout out something to transform, which was kind of odd. Yeah, I'm not going to say it was just really weird. And then it kind of transitioned throughout. So starting off, here is Optimus Prime, G1, and then we got Optimus Primal. And I don't know if you guys remember seeing these on the toy shelves or remember seeing this for the first time, but I absolutely couldn't stand it. I hated Beast Wars. I don't anymore, but I hated it back then because I thought it was just like, what the hell are they doing? I mean, you got carbon copies trying to reinvent it, but we didn't have the internet as much, back then as much. So what do you guys think about the reusage of names and similarities? Boom, Megatron.
Jonathan McKnight says typical Beast Wars fan can't even show up to defend this show. But it's all about hey, this did well, so let's just keep on riding that coattails. To where I think if they would have started with Beast Wars, then you wouldn't have seen the success out of the gate that you did with G1, and it might have ended there. It might have not caught on because kids, they like the dinosaurs, but we also like the trucks and the cars and then the jets and stuff like that. So it kind of had a little bit of everything. I'm not saying I hear what Beast Wars fans say, that the story is more put together and it makes more sense. As far as the way it's developed than G1, where it kind of just jumps all over the place with these episodes. But as far as the designs of the characters, I think the G1 is kind of what sold the show, and it made it as popular as it is. I mean, think of like everything that comes out today. It's like some way we're trying to relate it to G1.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something you get sick of after a while.
Yeah. Like this, Megatron, they actually kept the name for both, or for, the Beast Wars version, which I thought was like, okay. Again, when I first saw this, I was like, really? Like, Dinobots were, these guys, not this guy, Dinobot. And even to, like, Prowl. Prowl was, it was one of my favorite G1 characters. And, I mean, this is the Transmetal version. We never got the Lyle Jr., I don't think, here, did we? Oh, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
With the Magnaboss. So, yeah, it was just weird. Again, Scorponok. And I'm not doing all of them, but...
No, but Jim, if you go back to Prowl, there's one thing that I wanted, or you could even stay it on Silverbolt, it doesn't matter, because this is one of the things that I wanted to point out, is with the Beast War thing, that one of the things that kind of turned me off as a kid, to where I was like, I don't like these, there's many reasons, but one being that the feet that they would use, or maybe feet or hands they would use in their beast modes, so a lot of times they translated over to being used, and it was like, hey, we just extend the legs, and now there's the beast leg, or for the robot form.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you see here. You saw it again, and you see it
Megatron was the same way.
Megatron. You see it with
there.
there, and then there was another guy that you just Silverbolt, I think it was, that he had the same exact thing. The other problem I had was the shells with it, the shell forming.
Yeah,
where it was like you pop open the shell, and then here's all the little stuff inside that you fold it out of place, and then you got these big shells hanging off of it. That was something else I didn't like.
That was definitely true for Beast Wars Neo. They were shell formers, where Beast Wars Second was just repaints and such. But yeah, those are just some of the characters I wanted to showcase. Like, this is Silverbolt, Aerobots, and we got Silverbolt, Fusor. But it's popular enough that it was recognized as a 10th anniversary. You don't really see that in any other line besides G1.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the better versions in some ways for the toys, even though this one's shit. This looks nice, but it's a piece of shit because it's got the GPS, but it's actually the brown plastic syndrome problem.
Well, look at all that. Even the legs, just all crammed up under its chest too. It's like, they didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, we totally need. Well, I guess the NK or the universe, but then now we have the 20th anniversary, so we're recognizing again, and we got Masterpiece, Optimus Primal, or Beast Convoy, or whatever they're calling them over there. But I think I am definitely in on this because I am a fan. I mean, I didn't like it at first, but I am a fan of this. I love the stories. I love everything about it. But that's all the pictures I have. So I just wanted to run through that really quickly. Then we can get into a little bit of discussion. Hopefully Dakota will be here soon.
Ooh, discussion.
So done with that. Hopefully I don't log out. Okay. So basically, let's look at what we got from Beast Wars. Started in 1996. Pretty much got the introduction of ball joints. I could be wrong, but that's what we pretty much got. We got a size class
too.
What?
Like Retgar, he had ball joints for his shoulders.
Yeah, and we got Whirl, and we got some other guys, but across the line, though. Okay, let's
These
just put
four
it
fans like to claim it, though.
Yes.
We were the first.
But we also got size classes, which we never had before. We had the basics, we had the ultra class,
the
mega, all that type of stuff. I mean, that started the trend as we have now. I don't know if people realize that either. And at first, when I was looking at it, I was like, was Hasbro in a way doing what Matty does or Mattel does? They made this line because G1 was pretty much dead. G2 was kind of, gone too, but to be placeholders for the names. What a good way to do the placeholders instead of like putting on a box like Matty Collector did. They actually create a character and let's call this thing Prowl. So we have the rights to the name to carry on when we want to get back into, let's say, RID, which happens in 2000, and bring them back to cars. But, I mean, storyline is great, but what about the rest of you? Dalton, you're younger, grew up a little bit with closer to Beast Wars than G1. Yeah. What's your take on it?
I don't know. I mean, I really love the series, and the way they did the names is what I like about them reusing them. Like Megatron isn't taking over as he's not the same Megatron. I mean, he was just some nobody who took on the name just to intimidate people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and Optimus is a descendant of Prime.
So Megatron is not actually Megatron.
No.
No.
Well, that even makes even worse sense now.
But can we agree, for the ones who have seen Beast Wars, to someone, let's say, like Josh, you should invest the time into watching the series, because I think you would be amazed.
At least watch past the first season.
Yeah.
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 I got bored after like 2.5 episodes. So.
All right. Well, I think it's the best written story we've ever got in the Transformers as far as a cartoon. A lot of fans of the show will always go back to like Code of Honor because of Dinobot and how he sacrifices himself, or even the story arc.
Code of Hero.
Code of Hero, whatever the hell it is. You got the point, though, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, there we go. Other than that, though, I mean, with the story arc with G1 being introduced, I think that was pretty good, even with Unicron. But
Yeah.
the toys, though, still weren't the best out there as far as, in a way representing a CG cartoon. But the voice acting was spot on. Now, let's put it this way. What if they had the writers for Generation 1 that did Beast Wars? Would Generation 1 be the end-all, be-all? Because at times, G1, the cartoon, is spotty. It's like, as far as storylines. Would you have liked that kind of story arc where it builds on a smaller cast and kind of progressively we get to know more about the characters for G1, or would you have rather... It is what it is. I like it. Don't take away my nostalgia.
Well, the thing is, like, I understand a lot of it for G1, it being the very first one. You had several different writers, and a lot of times they weren't even communicating some of the stuff to each other. And a lot of times you had several of them writing at the same time. That's where, whenever you look at Season 3, it's like, who's done with their script first, and it's like it's like, okay, you go here, and who's next? And then that's why whenever you look back at it, like, some of the episodes are out of order. I even think they did that in Season 2 as well.
But would you have rather had what Beast Wars had? Smaller based group of characters fleshed out in a storyline, or do you like what they did with G1? Stick it with that.
I like it with G1 because I like getting all the characters, and I liked all the toys and stuff. The toys was like kind of the main thing for me, and it was having the toys and then going watching the cartoon, seeing what the little mission for today was, and going reenacting that with my toys.
But you could do that with Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all about just the risk.
I'm just saying.
I think that I don't have as good toys to play with, though.
True.
How some of the non-show characters.
That'd be an interesting thing to see. No, that'd be an interesting thing to see if the original G1 cartoon had like the same story structure as Beast Wars.
Well,
I'm
Thanks for the nightmares.
okay.
well, I even
Okay,
take it a step further and say, even though we're not talking about this, but you put, the story structure, but the cool thing about G1 was the cool toys. That I'll say Transformer Prime, you have a great story structure, and you had some really good toys as well.
Yeah.
So that as far as like that goes, I would say that would probably be one of the better series out of all of Transformers because you got good toys and you got a great cartoon.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Along with animated, I'd go with animated too.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
just it's the whole G1 versus Beast War thing. I think is just because they are two totally different. They're like yin and yang, and then they were close together and they were the two first ones.
But do you admit that Beast Wars, besides G1, G1 is the end all be all, the most successful. That's what everything's based off of all that. But the next one, do you think would be Beast Wars as far as a series is the next most successful out of the Transformers lore?
Yes.
Is that agreeable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did this thing one time where I went and I looked at all the forums of what people were talking about, and I did animated G1 at Beast Wars and stuff like that, and I don't think Beast Wars was second.
You don't think? With all the stuff that's happening, they've had an anniversary. They celebrate each anniversary. Beast Wars, again, I'm in the middle. I like both. So, but
Yeah.
since Dakota's not here, I'm gonna help him along. But Beast Wars, I think, kept the Transformers brand alive. It did. It
Yeah.
brought back new life, just
It-
exactly what the 2007 movie did for Transformers.
I'll agree with that.
And
Brought in a new generation of fans.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think anything else has been able to do that, besides the 2007 movie, as far as a cartoon base. Yeah, you have animated, but maybe it's not. They're not old enough yet. And maybe we won't. Once they're old enough, maybe we'll see some reissues or some anniversaries, all that type of crap. But it seems like it reverts back to Beast Wars. So that's why I posed the question: do you think that they are second as far as success as
Yeah,
to
I mean,
people
I'll
wanting
give
it?
you that. I guess I'll give you that. I mean, because they did have a video game as well, but that was also kind of G1. You had a couple, what was it, Konami stuff, but
Yeah.
or I forget what it was, but like when in kind of the gold, the golden age of video games, where they were trying to do stuff like with PlayStation and stuff like that, you had to be sports video game stuff. I don't know if it was any good or not,
So
but like my middle brother, I believe he's like the same age as Dakota. He actually, I think he's a little bit older, by just like a couple of years or whatever. But like he's not into Beast War or Transformers or any of that stuff. So it did make, even though he loved it as a child, absolutely loved it, and he was exposed to my G1 stuff, his Beast Wars. I mean, we had tons of Star Wars, Thundercats, all that stuff. So he had access to all my toys, plus all his. And like he once he outgrew it, there was like he's not coming back. Like I said, he's like a couple of years older than Dakota, and he's like, uh, I don't care about this stuff anymore. So it didn't make as much of an impact as like G1 did.
Hmm.
And that's not
Okay.
to say that there aren't people that grew up with G1 that now they've moved on and they're not collecting. It's not to say that every G1 fan is coming back to collect it again. But
Yeah.
I'm just going off of the person that I know the most, besides Dakota, that's a Beast Wars fan, that I'm like, hey, do you want me to maybe get you this or something? He's like, nah. I even offered, because I knew he was big into Darkwing Duck. I was like, hey, man, do you want some like Darkwing Duck? Nah.
Hmm.
You can buy me a video game though, or something like that. Because I also think that that's kind of that age where video games started, getting bigger and bigger. To where a lot of them have kind of gone to, hey, video game is my new toy, and So that's another reason why I think G1's so big is because we did have some video games back then, but it wasn't as grand as what you had with the PlayStation, Super NES, and then going forward. So a lot of them, they just could revert back to video games and they play that instead of going back to the toys, which happens to be Beast Wars during that time period.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I think G1 is like why you always see people like, hey, if we want to sell stuff, we have to go back to G1 because we know that these fans, they're nostalgic for it.
Yeah, and there's a market for it.
Exactly.
I mean, and you see that even with the stuff being sold now. I mean, the whole like Combined Wars Onslaught characters, G1, and all that. So, okay, I was just trying to, get all the hate. I like Beast Wars. I didn't like it at first, but I like it now. I have pretty much the entire Japanese collection, and then almost, at least I have the season 1, season 2. I don't really care about the little, obscure figures. Jesus, what the hell? I mean, seriously. It's just annoying.
Charles' mic is a little, I think, sensitive, maybe?
No,
That's not me.
That's not him.
It was TCO.
What?
But that's all. Now that Dakota's not here and he just screwed my entire show. No, but it's all good.
Wait, what's going on?
Transformers 86 film really proves it for me, which is better. Did Beast Wars have a movie?
Beast Wars 2nd had a movie, but that's Japanese, so we'll discount that because we don't like that.
But that was also the 86 movie was kind of Hasbro's introduction into, hey, these are, now we're putting out our figures, ones that like we made,
Yeah.
'cause prior to that, it was just like Toy Box and Diaclone and stuff.
All right.
All right.
I like it when I just had the joint.
Yep.
Dude, I was waiting on the notification for my phone and
Excuses.
it didn't pop up. Talking, dude, don't give me sass. Like, first of all, remember, I'm the big D, you're baby D. You need to remember that.
All right, and that, like I was saying, and that's why G1 is better. So with what I've stated my case. Have I won?
You'll never win.
No. Well.
Are we talking why
biased.
Beast Wars is better than G1?
No, we're just talking why there's so much hate towards Beast Wars. I'm not trying to compare like why G1's superior or Beast Wars more superior.
It's
Why
all
is there
Josh. That's all it is. Honestly, like I'll take this question seriously. I think it's because Beast Wars was the first thing that came after G1, and it was so different.
Exactly.
It's different than any of the other franchise reboots. All the other franchise reboots, cars and planes and vehicles.
Animorphs.
But let's not. I mean, that's not really. Like, even Beast Wars fans draw a line at Animorphs. But I think it's because it went like to a complete left field, because G2 failed, which was bright neon colored G1 stuff, and I think that's why it gets more hate. Is just for that. Like, of all the reboots, it is by far the most original and the most well written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prime being a super close second, at least in my opinion. But
If Prime would have the longevity as what Beast Wars got, I think Prime would be right up there.
exactly. I mean,
But
and
it
Prime
didn't.
had 3 seasons, but I don't think they had as many episodes.
No.
Not nearly.
And I think eventually Prime would have taken the Beast Wars route. I think eventually the characters would have had Beast alt modes. Like that I think is the natural progression.
I noticed that Transformer Prime died when they started introducing all those beast stuff.
All the Predacons.
Oh, you
Stop
mean
it,
the
and-
one? You mean the 3 dragons? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I still feel like Hasbro killed that series too quick.
Hasbro is completely responsible for why that series died. Nobody wanted it to end. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Peter Cullen and Frank Welker back again. I mean, I honestly thought Prime was gonna be the second coming of G1.
It was meant to be like a, an end all be all aligned. It was the, all the best things from everything they've done, they had done in the last 20 years. That's what it was supposed to be. And then, I mean, you'll notice, like, after, Aaron Archer and all those guys that, had worked on all that stuff left or, were
Got let
fired or
go.
whatever, that Hasbro completely ditched. As soon as they rotated the new team onto Transformers, all that stuff got ditched, and they're like, oh, here's RID, which is in the Prime universe, if you want to believe that bullshit. It's I don't know, dude. I definitely blame Hasbro for that. I mean, dude, Prime had so much potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Yep.
It was the first dark series we got, and then we went to Happy-Go-Lucky RID. Sucked. So, all right. Well, anything you want to add, Mr. Dakota? Just Beast Wars, anything? I mean, I just briefly went over the difference, when they came out, the series, what we got introduced to with Beast Wars as far as the ball joints, the different classes, size classes, but some of the things, like why they're horrible. I mean, because in a way, I as a G1 fan, it seems like you shit on my past by taking like the Silver Bolt or the Prowl name and all that, and you make them a freaking owl or
Right.
a lion and all that. And it's like, what?
A foul.
But, I will admit I was extremely ecstatic when RID came out. I'm like, oh my god, they're back to vehicles? Yeah! But they kept that Predacons in there a little bit just to kind of link them in a way so you didn't totally took away from the Beast Wars fans.
It was a slow transition to, like, I'll be brutally honest here, because I can be, a little more brutally honest on your show. With them porting over car robots into RID, it was the slow transition into the horse shit that we got that was Transformers Armada. Dude, those toys were terrible. Like, the show,
yeah.
I enjoy, for the most part, I enjoyed the Pokemon show. And, like, watching...
I love them kids.
Watching Micron Legends, the fan sub that Coryuto put out, like, I love that. I think that is a great show. But man, the toys were just
All right, well,
they were awful.
let's just do some facts real quick. All right.
Oh,
So
God. What'd you get?
G1 was mostly cars and airplanes and stuff like that, right? Okay.
Yes.
So, there was some beast in there, but mostly we look at it as kind of your cars and planes stuff. All right, so Beast Wars, so those are just about mainly beast, right?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Let's move on. You said RID. Those go mainly cars, but you said those sprinkled in some beast, but it's mainly, like cars and stuff, right?
Yeah, they had the Predacons, so they're beasts. And then the Decepticons came up, if you're looking at the RID, not the car robots, but yes.
Would you say it's mostly kind of car, automobiles and planes and jets, or mostly beasts?
Cars and planes, because that's what the Autobots were.
All right. So moving on to Armada, is it mostly cars or mostly type beast?
Definitely cars.
Definitely cars.
Okay, going to the next one. Is it whatever the hell it is?
Galaxy Force or Cybertron?
Yeah.
No,
is
Energon is
No,
next.
sorry, Energon. Yeah, the shitty.
we hit both
We
of them.
pretend that doesn't exist.
Both of them. Is it mostly cars and jets and spacecrafts and stuff, or is it mostly beasts?
Energon, mostly cars, jets, and spacecraft. Cybertron, there were beasts.
Yeah, there were beasts in there, but there were a lot of vehicles.
Cybertron. So you say it's a split?
Kind of a split, because you had different planets.
I'd probably say more vehicles, but still.
Animated, mostly cars and stuff. Transformer Prime, mostly cars and stuff. The point I'm making is, if you're talking about G1 and Beast Wars, they're at the very beginning, and if Beast Wars was so successful and so great, then why every single series after that has it always been mostly cars and airplanes and jets and all that other stuff? Why haven't they been like, hey, we got to keep on hitting this Beast Wars thing back because that thing was fantastic? No, they keep on like, no, we got to hit that G1 back again. So
You know,
find
do
the
you know
next
why?
G1.
Do you know why? Okay, let's take a look at facts. Generation
That's what we just
1,
did, but-
poorly written, meant to sell toys. We can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beast
Yeah.
Wars, very well written, also meant to sell toys. And I mean, let's be honest. G1 toys, Beast Wars toys, they were both great for what they were. Like as much as I hate brick formers, they were fantastic for what they were when they were. I mean, they were mind-boggling. Can we? I mean,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
no, okay. So you
No,
go to
that posability with Beast Wars, which you didn't get prior to any other Transformer line.
right, which also kind of built off the popularity of Jurassic Park. But I think that may have had some kind of huge success with just the 2 dinosaurs that were released in Beast Wars.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
I'm still waiting on.
now that
I'm
you
still
mention
waiting
it.
on a fact here, though.
Okay.
Heard nothing but opinions so far.
So they start going back to cars and stuff. Split with Beasts to kind of help the transition. Now let's get into Armada. Decent show, terrible toys, all cars.
All
Getting to Energon. We'll get into Energon.
Hated those toys. Hated those toys.
Little bit better on the toys. Still kind of still had a very poor gimmick. But again, trying to kind of recreate the spark they had with cars, well, it didn't quite work. Cybertron came around. Honestly, in my opinion, Cybertron is the better of the Armada trilogy, or the Unicron trilogy, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Had a healthy mixture of cars and beasts.
What was that?
What?
I just heard like a weird noise, like a baby laughing.
It's all right.
TCO,
Let's
you're
just
killing me.
move on.
You're killing my buzz.
What the heck?
And then you get animated, which was a good, that was great. Which, if I'm not mistaken, animated, that had a guy that wrote Beast, that was a main writer on Beast Machines, right?
Okay, let's just say they did. Let's just say they did.
Marty Eisenberg, didn't he work on some animated stuff?
Let's
think so.
let's say he did.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's just just throwing that out there. And then Prime came out. Prime is arguably like the best Transformers series that is predominantly cars and vehicles, in my opinion. And I think
I agree with that too.
I think a lot of people will agree with that.
Mhm.
So you're asking why they keep going back to cars and vehicles in Generation 1 and they don't do Beast Wars. Beast Wars was perfect. Like, you don't have to try to go rehash that. Beast Wars.
So they're still trying to get G1
Beast
right.
Wars
All right, I
hit
don't
all
even
the
need
right
to hear
notes,
anymore.
and they're trying to get Beast Wars right. No, you don't want to hear anymore.
Okay.
They're still trying to get cars and jets right. For some reason, Beasts. I mean, they did it. They did it perfect. They did it right the first
Like you
time.
mentioned before, that they're in the business to sell toys, and if they were going to do such a great job selling toys that were obviously what you say, the superior product being Beast Wars, then you think that they'd start doing more Beast stuff, but they don't, because that's obviously not what's selling, and the superior, and there's...
Well,
therefore it's not what
unfortunately,
people love.
people that grew up with car and jet Transformers didn't really have it good, like ever. So they have to still cater to those people.
The fact
what I
of the
mean?
matter, regardless, if you want a fact, Beast Wars has anniversaries and they get reissued. No other line besides G1 has gotten that.
That is true.
Yeah.
No other
Yeah.
one. You got the 5th anniversary, you got the 10th anniversary, you got the 20th anniversary. No other line has gotten an anniversary, whether it's small, large, whatever. The Telemoka line came out, you got the Robot Masters. You got Beasts that came out. So there is a small faction that's and it's bigger than the Unicron trilogy. It's bigger than RID as far as I've seen. So that's fact right there. No other. Show me another line that's got an anniversary.
I'm willing to put
G1.
Beast Wars number 3. G1 Prime,
Prime's not there yet. Prime,
yeah, but because it's not old enough. It's not old enough, but I'm saying
it's not viable. It's not.
Then I would say Beast Wars would be number 2 then.
Yeah,
but
that's all I'm saying.
As far as the story, the cartoon, and also the toys being great at both, I think Prime would. Whenever we get to this point, I would say Prime, animated. As far as the toys looking like what they do on screen is absolutely perfect and beautiful.
I don't think we've ever had any other Transformers toy line where the toys match the cartoon so perfectly and they didn't suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's for like every single figure, every single animated figure is, I think with the exception of that Cybertronian mode Megatron.
Yeah.
They were all phenomenal. And the fact that they were able to get that to work is crazy, but that was the old design team. That was the dream team that we no longer have.
Yeah. But that's all I was kind of wanting to, spit out. I mean, it's accepted that G1 is always going to be the superior one. It's the first one that came out. I had to start somewhere. It's what we have. It's what, it's in IDW. It's in the Combiner Wars. It's all the new stuff that's out there. It's a masterpiece. But you still have Beast Wars is right there, and I'm just kind of curious why, it's like, okay, just you got the hate towards it. There's really no hate. There shouldn't be any hate. It's a good series.
I can say what my hate is.
Okay, then that's good. I want to know, like, what specifically do you hate about it? Don't hold anything back.
Okay, because I know Dakota loves it so much, I love screwing with him.
That's the only reason.
And that's why I I have that little bit of devil's advocate and just bust balls, and I know that it just makes them come up with the most ridiculous stuff to try to, and that's why I love it so much, and that's why I think
that's great.
We all these years, almost 3 years of us doing shows.
There's always this grand argument.
It's just, dude, that's the two sides facing off right there, and just make it brutal as possible. Is there really any hate for Beast Wars? I don't care about Beast Wars. I mean, if you love it, whatever. And I would appreciate any Beast Wars collection if I saw it, just like we do when we look at collection spotlights and stuff. So, however small, big, whatever you have, it's an accomplishment to be able to collect that stuff. And I would look over Dakota's room going in there, and I would just be amazed and think it was all awesome looking. And I would remember some of the stuff that, my brother collected. Do I lose sleep at night because of my hatred of Beast Wars? No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You're always thinking of ways to bust my balls. You're just like laying in bed, like I should be
laying in
sleeping,
bed, just looking like.
I dream, and then I'm like, oh god, dude, I wake up, I've got a notepad and everything, and I write down like, oh, dude, this is gonna be such a good slam on Dakota real quick.
I'm hoping that Optimus Prime.
I'm gonna talk about that masterpiece Primal. He doesn't even know.
It's just made of monkey shit. He's never gonna.
But the thing is I don't. It's not for me. I don't like it. So I'm not gonna buy it. It's not because I hate it, but I'm not gonna buy it. So we've said that before. I think maybe a year ago on the show or something. But
that's cool.
It's always fun. Illuminati confirmed, by the way.
All right. So, any more talk about Beast Wars? Or do you want to move on?
Well, does Beast Machines count? I feel like Beast Machines is...
Yeah, it's part of Beast Wars.
To me, that's the direct successor to Beast Wars. That's where everything wraps up.
It's Beast Wars Returns in Japan.
Well, Beast Machines was crazy. I felt like any sort of good was canceled out by the bad, but Yeah, it was just a crazy show, and
I'll be honest, like, the show, to me, I love the show. There's a lot of Beast Wars fans that are just like,
Now he's going to
they
be
wouldn't
honest.
they wouldn't piss on Beast
He's gonna
Machines
be
if it was on
honest.
fire.
I'll be
And-
honest now.
It's
like it's
complicated as the story. It's thought provoking. It's kind of more.
The toys were piss poor.
Yeah.
Like,
oh God, yes.
I'll lay that out on the table. Like, the toys were awful. There were a few hidden gems, but nothing that great. But the show I think was all. I mean, it got very dark.
Oh yeah.
And you see that with
Yeah.
characters like Tankor and with Primal and Megatron both going to these extremes.
Yep.
With their views.
And Cheetor stepping up, and I mean, you got to see development from what you invested in the previous series of Beast Wars, and you got to see it come together at the very end. And like, wow, okay, cool. Not like this Bumblebee bullshit where it's like Bumblebee's coming up and he's taking over, like from Transformers Prime to RID. Like, I don't know if I can lead this team. Then don't fucking do it. Step down, do something else.
Yeah, you're
It's a pain in the
obviously,
ass.
you're obviously not a leader if you say something like that. So
Like, how did you go from being a scout to leader of the Autobots?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and just real quick, that there wasn't.
there wasn't an in-between class, like a
If
lieutenant
anything-
or something.
If anything, RC should have jumped.
Yeah, definitely.
to that leadership role.
Yeah,
I would have seen
Yeah.
that.
definitely.
That would have been real cool on
And different too.
on the writers part, on Hasbro's part. You make RC a leader. Like, she already has so much backstory, and everything that she, all of her inner demons that she deals with, like with the loss of Cliff Jumper and Tailgate,
Oh,
Her history
Jumper's
with-
dead.
and just dealing with that as a leader. You know what I mean?
Her
And
her
in
history
Victory-
was
Having that fear, and that I think is where she could have excelled. But no, let's make fucking Bumblebee the leader. And
Yeah. He's got his voice back. He's the leader.
I think RC was a popular enough character for like us adults, but for kids, male boys and girls, because it was presented, I believe, by Jonathan McKnight, on Cybercast there at the end is the whole question about boys wanting to buy female characters whenever they were kids back in the 80s and stuff like that. Now it's more social, it's like it's whatever's a cool character, I want to buy it,
Yeah.
But do you think that because I don't have any kids, so I can't speak on that. James, you could probably speak on it more, but let's say Little Saber, do you think that he would have been like all on with board with like, hey, RC, the female character is our leader? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying like, hey, as far as they obviously made Bumblebee the leader because kids love Bumblebee.
Yeah.
apparently.
So that's what we're getting at here. It's a marketing thing. So do they think that, hey, that might be a bad marketing move, or hey, we're not ready for that, or what do you think the case may be?
I think my son would have been behind it because he grew. I mean, he's watched like Clone Wars. He's seen like Ahsoka. He's seen some of these, like Aayla Secura. Some of the Jedi's. The Masters and all that are female, and he likes Ahsoka. As far as Transformers, I mean, he's not a huge Transformers fan, but yeah, he can get behind that.
Mhm.
I don't think he would like. Oh man. He's not a huge Bumblebee fan, but if it made sense and if it was entertaining and it, some of the adults, if they're trying to throw in some of that, that type of theme, but as long as it still relates to kids, yeah. Now, would they make RC more of a motherly figure if she's the leader, or would she be that hardened like discourse? I'm kind of psycho at times. I mean, it just depends on how they're going to portray RC. And all that, but I think my son would be behind it. I mean, and all that. I mean, I don't think
you
it
get
matters.
the point I'm making, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The marketing thing, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I would actually like to argue the fact that Bumblebee is still popular among kids. 2007, 8, 9, maybe even through 11, I would argue that. I mean, I would agree with that. But now, I mean, you know,
Still warm in the
all the way up to Optibotimus's age.
we're, we're looking at, you know, almost 10 years of, you know, yellow plastic. You know, there's a lot of these.
plastic.
Yeah, I think or muscle car yellow plastic, whatever.
Yeah.
I think kids are burned out. I would argue they were burned out in 2011.
Well, that's why they flipped the colors to black to yellow.
The stealth mode. But isn't there a Bumblebee movie coming out though?
We pretend that doesn't exist, sir.
I thought that was a placeholder name, honestly.
Oh, okay.
You know, a lot of movies will have little placeholder names until they get something. That's what I thought. I mean, could be wrong. It could be a Bumblebee movie, and I'll just,
It's like the new Star Wars movie is like the screen, the script says like, I don't know what it is, like Chocolate Bunny or something like that. Like something
Bunny.
I don't know what it is. It's something ridiculous that's obviously not going to be the name.
The new Death Star is Chocolate Bunny. All right, well, moving on. Yeah, that was a good segue. Star Wars. Really quickly, have you guys seen the new Rebels?
Yeah.
No. All right. Well, spoiler alert, because that's what I like to do on the show.
I don't care.
I like to destroy everyone's dreams and everything else, but it was a good episode. Ahsoka comes back. A lot of kind of nods to the past, as far as, plain Jane in your face, and some of them were just kind of, like subtle. But for whoever saw it, I think Josh, you said you saw it. Did you like it?
Oh, absolutely. Well, any episode that's gonna have Ahsoka in it, I'm gonna just automatically like. I also like the Seven Sister. I like the dual Inquisitors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then also going back to that Jedi temple, and discovering something new. I think that leaving it, I think Kanan.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a stronger leader. For Ezra. Because I think he left learning something as well.
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert, he was knighted, so he's now a full-fledged Jedi Knight in a way. But did you think it was cool who knighted him?
Oh,
in a weird way?
Yeah.
The Grand Inquisitor?
Okay, so
we're spoiling this son bitch. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
All right.
Well, since we're spoiling it, I got a question to ask. Does Ahsoka know about Darth Vader yet?
Yes. Or she knows. She senses it.
She feels it.
Sense who Darth Vader really is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
the whole
it shows it in this episode.
Yeah, the Jedi Temple, they go off in their little like individual paths. Ezra meets up with Yoda. Kanan meets up with the Grand Inquisitor that we find out used to be a Jedi Knight, and he finally succumbs to the fact that he can't always protect Ezra and do this and that, and he finally passes the final test to become a knight. On the other hand, we have Ahsoka, who finally gets this vision of Anakin behind her saying, Anakin's like, you left me, you abandoned me, you did all this, look what I've become. And all of a sudden she starts to kind of like cry, and Darth Vader appears, and all you hear is his breathing, and she knows, and like, I left for a reason, I didn't want to be part of the Jedi, and it's what she said before they got into the temple. I can't do this. You guys have to raise it up because I'm not part of the Order anymore.
Yeah, she left after the Clone Wars, after they accused her.
And even Yoda at the end
hunted her like a dog.
Said goodbye to her because they had that little. She looked back because she can feel Yoda, and she kind of waved, and he waved to her, knowing like hey, which is like an homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And it was really cool. And it was a good episode as far as finally progressing with the story, and we all want to see Ahsoka face Vader. And Vader shows up at the temple, and it's like, good work, we found this, and it's a good find.
Jim, I don't want to see her face Vader, because if we look at Episode 4, New Hope, we know that
Uh-huh.
Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka all die.
Or there.
They're all
already
dead.
knew that in the
Exactly.
Clone Wars.
They're all dead.
We already knew that in the Clone Wars. You know, you watch the really well-written, great cartoon of the Clone Wars, but you already know that, gee whiz, Anakin's right there kicking ass with Obi-Wan. Well, we know he's going to turn and, you know, all this other stuff, and he's going to kill him, and all the clones there are going to turn on the Jedi. It's like we already know the plot, but we get so wrapped up into the storyline that we don't care anymore. We kind of just want to see how it progresses. And
I want Ahsoka to go be like old Ben or Yoda.
Old Ben.
I want her to live forever. You know.
well, we know that Lucas wanted to kill her off, but the actual writer said no. We want her just to leave the Order and just, you know, kind of walk off into the sunset type thing. But Lucas was, you know, Lucas likes to kill everything.
Yeah, he does.
But yeah, it was a good episode. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Spoiler, but that's what my show's about. That's what we do. We spoil everything. I'll spoil what you got in the mail if I could find out what it is. You know, that's how dark and deep I'll go. I'll find out your Christmas presents, your birthday presents, everything.
James spends like all day on plane flights and like cab
I
rides
do.
to people's houses.
I don't work and do anything during the day. And besides sitting here, taking care of my kids, playing video games, and playing with toys, I got nothing else to do. I need a hobby. All right, so other little tidbits. I haven't done this for a while, and you know, I'm just gonna throw this out there. DCTV World. I saw Supergirl. Was it me? But Brainiac looks just like a carbon copy of Mystique.
Yes.
I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was a brainiac. Okay.
Yeah. And she was in the comics and the Outsiders. I think she was in that for a while. The Traitor. But you had that. The whole Arrow. I mean, well, let's go. Flash, I guess, is next. Flash is getting good. We find out Jay Garrick, spoiler alert, dies. But is he really Jay Garrick? Because we find out that Jay Garrick is actually being.
Flash is getting the most interesting.
Yeah.
Actually found out that Jay Garrick is getting what?
He's actually been imprisoned by Zoom on Earth 2.
Oh, okay.
He's wearing the iron mask, or let's we're just assuming that, but it basically came down to like that's actually Jay Garrick when Barry got trapped. But it goes back to that whole episode, if you guys remember, if you guys saw it, if you guys watch it, where Jay Garrick needs to find his doppelganger on Earth 1, and he finds him, but he's going by the name of Hunter Zolomon, which happens to be Zoom in the comic books. And so I wonder where they're going, but it is getting interested. I mean, do you like it, Josh? Anyone else watching it, enjoying it?
Flash is good. I can see that if that Wally West is actually the Wally West that's the Flash, and there's not another Wally West out there that's actually, you know, the Flash, that I hate that Wally West just because the kid's a brat, man. You know,
Yeah,
like
he
his
is.
personality is not even one. You just don't like the guy because he's always, you know, he's always on the offense, you know, and or defensive, and like if you ask him something, he's all, well, I'll just leave, you know. It's like, dude, Wally West is the cracking jokes and stuff like that, you know. Like that's what I need to see. That's what I want. So I don't really
Stemming back to Justice League by Bruce Timm.
Yeah. And then
Nothing wrong with that.
the other thing is you know, with Arrow,
Yeah.
watching you know, some season 2 now, Young Justice, and you know, seeing Roy, you know, Harper,
Arsenal.
yeah, to where he's Arsenal, and you saw in the, you know, it was actually Legends of Tomorrow, where you saw Old Man Oliver with his arm taken off.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been better, I think, if it was Roy and it had his arm, you know, taken off, where he had his, you know, his cannon arm.
Yeah, but that was an homage to the comic book, I think, because in Green Arrow 100, he got his arm trapped in a. He's on an airplane. He got his arm trapped in a bomb, and Superman's there, and he's like, Ollie, I can get you out of there. He's like, no, I can get you out. I cut your arm off, get you out. He's like, no, and he dies. So that's the end of Green Arrow. Oliver Queen's dead, but he comes back with the power of Hal Jordan as the Spectre and all that, or Parallax, or whatever the hell he was at the time.
Parallax, yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a little homage to that, and yeah, probably to Arsenal too in a way. But I didn't like the fact that, if you remember that episode, Diggle's son is calling himself Connor Hawk, which
Connor
is
No, that's
Hawk.
which
Oliver's son.
yeah, that's Oliver's son.
Oliver's son, yeah.
And so it was kind of weird and kind of dumb how they went that route, but they all have to have that same, I'm the Green Arrow, UFA of the city, that stupid ass deep voice and crap.
I don't get it. Why they keep on like mixing it up, and like all the characters, like, okay, now she's with him, and this is something. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Oliver's been with a lot
It's getting hard to watch.
Legends of Tomorrow is the only one of those shows I keep up with, and I'm like, I'm sitting here wondering, because I watched the one that came on Thursday. I watched it earlier today. Like, why are they just killing off the team members like every 6 episodes?
Oh, Mick.
And
Yeah.
you know what? Another thing, what we don't know is that this goes back to, do you kill baby Hitler? Vandal Savage. You have a time machine, and Vandal Savage is the root to it all. So why not go back to Egyptian time and just like, hey, we're sorry,
He tried.
Mr. and
Hunter,
Mrs.
yeah.
Savage, but your son's gonna grow up and kill everyone on the Earth, because at one point in time, Vandal Savage is the last man on Earth. You know what? Instead of that and causing all these wars throughout time, we're just gonna have to sacrifice you. I'm sorry.
Well, they couldn't
Until then.
pinpoint. They couldn't pinpoint when he was born before that, and Hunter already went back to Egypt to try to kill him before he killed.
but go back even a little bit further.
Can they do that, or can they go back further from when they've already been? I think that's what they're trying to do.
The next episode they go back to 1958, and they were in the 70s.
Okay, so yeah, okay, they can. All right.
So yeah, but
I'm just saying, go back and kill little baby Savage.
It's
or
a matter of
Dad Savage.
I think it's because they cannot find him. They cannot pinpoint.
It's the
Isn't that what they
question
got
that
in
was
this
raised
episode?
up like whatever a year or two ago. If you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler, would you? And yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, true.
I mean,
But how
like,
would you know?
oh,
How would
he's
you
a
know
baby.
it was baby Hitler in a hospital full of infants? It's like, do you take it to a really fucking dark place and just like kill all the babies, or you know what I mean? Because back then, you got to think, this is ancient Egypt. There isn't a little machine that has Lil Savage on it.
I mean, you're talking about ancient Egypt. I mean, they've done that stuff already before. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the whole Vandal Savage story arc. DC Legends of Tomorrow is
killing
good,
babies.
but yeah, let's get off the baby killing. But I just think it's dragging out too much. Not enough, like, fleshing out some of the characters. I mean, no offense to Rip Hunter, he's a dumbass when it comes to trying leading his team. We got the Atom. Palmer's trying to get it on with Hot Girl, and I can't stand Hot Girl. If you're talking about the characters out there, I don't want to sound like just an ass or something, but I can't stand the actress who plays her. She's probably a great actress, but I swear to God they should have gotten someone better, a redhead, because I'll go off of the Justice League Justice League stuff of Bruce Timm, and I like Shira Hall as that fiery redhead.
Yeah.
Dude, she ain't scared of anything either.
No. And when are they going to reintroduce Hawkman? I guess never.
Yeah. Or Mick, because we don't know what's going to happen with Mick. Like, I watched the promo for next week's episode, and it was like, okay, we're just going to pretend, they didn't just drop him off somewhere in time, and
Just left him.
Yeah.
Let's see. The other thing is like with Adam, whenever they were like, "Hey, we gotta," I always see him like his suit comes apart like it's styrofoam, man. And like this is something that he was taking like shots at, with.
And he was
Oh,
in
like
space
Hawkgirl
with.
just rips it off.
Yeah, she just rips, rips it off. Which if she does like truly have the strength that like she's supposed to, then I guess. But there's several times where like in the first episode, like this piece fell off your suit. Now you're gonna give him this technology. I'm like, his suit's always coming apart. So
Yeah.
that's a little strange. The best character in there is Captain Cold, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Captain Cold's good. I like Heatwave. I like Mick.
I think it's
I
because
like
those two have such good
chemistry.
chemistry, and they're good actors. Like, of all of them, I think they are the best actors.
Well, they also whenever they were got in a
prison break.
Whatever they did, they said this is going to be the first time we broke out of a prison.
Yeah, and I like the nods to all the different genres, like the Star Wars, the Star Trek that they would throw into the show. Looks like, why didn't you tell us we're taking on Boba Fett or something like that? Or, hey, look, I'm Captain Kirk. No, I think you're more Captain Picard. And all that type of stuff. I think that's pretty cool because it's always kind of taboo to like say other series or other types
properties.
Of stuff.
Yeah.
And such. But Arrow, really quickly, I think Arrow's getting. I'll be honest. The last Arrow that I just saw, I think, sucked. It took Vixen to come in. They got his little totem, and then all of a sudden, Damien Dark is now powerless, and Oliver's be able to beat him up. But from that point on, he was never able to do shit to him, and it's just kind of like stupid. Like they needed to wrap this up, and I was hoping his son was gonna die, as sick as that sounds. But I want to know who is in that fucking grave that we saw in the very beginning, and all this type of stuff. So.
I like the character of Vixen.
Yeah, she was good.
And the actress that played her, I like her too. I remember her in the 4400.
The 4400, yeah.
Yeah, oh man, dude, she's hot. But I wish they would have done like she should cut her hair, man. Short hair.
More like the Bruce Timm Justice League Unlimited.
Yes, the official, the
official look. So.
I thought they did all right with her powers, but they could have done a little bit more, maybe.
I think for a TV show, what they did, I think they represented her.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
People got the idea.
Yeah.
That was all right.
I'm hoping in DC's Legends of Tomorrow that they introduce like a Terry McGinnis or someone.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Or, someone maybe all that type of stuff, but. All right, so that's it that I wanted to kind of talk about. I talked about the shows and some other crap, but what else do you guys want to? Oh yeah, I had a topic real quick. This was back a while back. Sometimes I don't read the comments. I apologize, but bricks on the dollar. Huge Legos.
You don't
He's
say.
got everything. Yeah, no. Hence by his name, Bricks on the Dollar. But he had a topic back in the day. Do you think Takara Hasbro set themselves up for too high of expectations when they chose the word masterpiece for the name of the series scale? We kind of talked about this last week a little bit, and are they inviting too much criticism for what is just a higher price point line?
I don't think they set themselves up to fail. Granted, we haven't seen, like a Masterpiece Devastator or a Minosaur. Like, that's where, the scale's really going to kick in. But I think so far, like, everything is spot on to how it should be. With all the animation errors that were in, like, G1. And then, you're looking at Masterpiece Beast Wars. Like, is Primal as big as I want them to be? No. But if they're able to take that scale and work with it, I think it'll make more sense in the long run for stuff like Dinobot, Megatron, so on and so forth. So,
you're hoping, aren't you?
Yeah, dude. It's gonna happen. Like, let's be real. So I don't think they set themselves up to fail. No, I think they'll continue to adhere to it,
Yeah.
and God forbid we get Omega Supreme. You know what I mean?
God.
For every MP collector's like wallet's sake, But at the same time, what's the most that thing would be? $300, $400?
I
If
don't
that.
think that they would do that in scale because remember that fans' choice. Like, do you want Fort Max? Like, we
Well,
knew
I
we weren't going to
think
get a Fort Max.
I think that would have been the Cerebros. I think that would have been the inner, the core, the actual head.
Okay.
All things considered, I think that is what because that, in Japan, he was Fortress Maximus.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Fortress.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right. Well, I agree with Dakota. I think that the Masterpiece line, it is truly a masterpiece. There are some things that, like, you see little add-ons, like, hey, here's some hands that are individual fingers and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think that makes the toy better, because what if those, the more joints in the fingers and they're very small and stuff like that, and there's multiples of them. What if those started to kind of wear down and just the gripping of holding, the guns or whatever the case may be, if that wore down, then we'd be like, dude, these hands are crap, just give us the clamp. So I think the hands are fine. Though here's something that I pointed out before. I'm in the middle of transforming this guy, but where you see the screws on the hot rod,
oh, and the forums.
give it on the forearms. Give us the little plugs to plug that up, so I don't see the screws.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
The screw hole fillers would be a great plus.
yeah, screw hole fillers. That's something that would be very cheap for them to do, and it would set them above, like another notch, being the masterpiece that we truly want. The other little stuff like, not rubber tires or, like a die-cast or whatever the case may be. I get why some of those decisions are made. Because some people are like, hey, I got this masterpiece figure for, 3 years down the line, my rubber tires are cracking, hey, we don't want that, for everyone. We want this to be able to last them, for however long they want to keep the toys. So I get decisions like that of why they're made. Other things like not wanting to give the fingers individual articulation because those things can get loose very easily and very quickly. So I get why those decisions are made.
And look at how easily the trigger fingers can even pop off, like on Starscream and Soundwave.
Didn't Barrett Prime have problems with
Optimus,
fingers?
yeah.
For a while?
Yeah.
He lost it for a year, then he finally found it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that they truly are a masterpiece. They really are good, and if they weren't, then why are all the third-party companies trying to, mimic
Hop
them?
on it.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to think, a lot of these people that are hating on some of the toys and they aren't true masterpieces. Well, you're trying to work with actual physics, not a drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you
Not-
have limitations to what plastic and joints can do, whereas with animation you can get away with anything.
Not only that, but I mean, there's also there's a set budget that these designers have to work with. Granted, Masterpiece is a much more flexible budget than, say, mainline Generations, Combiner Wars, and all that other stuff. But they still have a budget. I'm sure if their budget was limitless, like here, just produce something that has like fucking 180-degree ankle tilt and it has 3 bending joints at the knee that look clean. I'm sure they could do it, but they have a budget, and even for that budget, they are still releasing these things in, I think, the best representable way possible. I don't feel like any shortcuts are being made. Personally, I'm one that misses rubber tires. Fortunately, I live in a humid climate, so I don't have to worry about any tires cracking. Yeah, so I mean, it's
I
great.
don't
Yeah.
either. And it never gets over 72 in my house. That's like the
Yeah.
highest it gets.
So I mean, but I get it that it's not like that everywhere. So like that stuff that I understand. Diecast, I could take it or leave it. Do not care. And ultimately diecast, I think, will wear down the joints.
Yeah.
Depending on where it is. I mean, that's all of that is just obvious problems that have been addressed forever now. So I don't know. It's looking at that and then looking at okay, let's take a look at the third party counterpart. Well, the official one's gonna last a lot longer.
And then also looking at some decisions on you want to go with like some hinge and different types of joints other than ball joints as well, because those things will wear down over time. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So all these things, while they to go with a certain type of joint other than a ball joint or something else, or instead of die cast, go with something else. Not go with the rubber tires, go with the plastic ones. Those decisions were made based upon, hey, we want to make sure that this thing stays in the condition that you bought it in for as long as you want to own it, to where some third parties are like, hey, we got the die cast, we got the, there's some ball joints here, so for some better movement in some places. There's also some rubber tires. Well, some of those things will end up messing up over time, or individual finger articulation and stuff. So, like
Sure.
I think Dakota said, as far as holding up over time and really getting what you paid for, and not having to replace it, a couple years down the line, whenever your figure starts to fall apart, if it's lasted that long, the masterpiece is truly the way to go.
They need to bring
Yeah.
back gold plastic syndrome though.
Okay.
Plastic, flaky. That would be kind of cool. Introduce that into the masterpiece line.
Yeah, that would be
A
fantastic.
masterpiece.
Especially if they're doing all the
Like
Beast
the-
Wars, like so Dinobot. They can maybe they
Grimlock.
can create
it was
brown-
Grimlock.
Well, no, I'm
I-
talking about if they do a masterpiece version of
Oh.
Dinobot, they could use some type of brown speckled plastic that.
Did
The
the
10th anniversary.
did the Dinobots ever? Did any of the Dinobots ever have that problem?
Yes.
Really?
The 10th anniversary is a piece of shit.
Oh, okay. Because I know, like the original Grimlock, the Beast Wars Grimlock, like that was bad. Randy, obviously.
Yeah, Randy.
To bring up, Van Brewer says, look at the new Voltron replacing the masterpiece. There will eventually be a better version on everything. Well, to that point, that masterpiece Voltron came out at, I believe, a 20th anniversary, then did a 25th, and then a 30th, like a year or two ago?
Mm.
So,
Well,
I mean,
look at MP01 and look at MP10.
You're talking about 11, 12 years, before you even, before they even changed that Voltron, to improve it any.
Yeah.
We had kind of touched on this earlier, but MP01 and then you look at MP10. You look at MP03 and then you look at MP11. You look at the white repaint of Prime into Magnus, and then you look at the most recent Masterpiece Ultramagnus. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you'll probably get some room for improvement, but I don't know if Takara will ever go back and do like Ultimate Edition Masterpiece line or anything like that. It's a possibility, but
There's
I
too
think they're
many.
a long ways from that.
There's too many things out there that they
Yes.
still need to do, and to go back would just
Exactly.
be giving the finger to the collectors, saying, "Oh, we're starting
Yeah.
over again." With a bigger,
Exactly.
better.
With Voltron, it's just Voltron. There's 5 lions. With Transformers, there's like 300 dudes in G1 alone.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And most of us would agree that you kind of start with MP08 is whenever they were like, okay, let's do it this way and on. But I could see it being started at MP09, and maybe you get a new Grimlock, but larger.
Yeah, I could totally see
So,
that.
so maybe if you get that new Grimlock and larger, you can make them even the same design and just larger, and it's officially licensed. Maybe you throw us a couple of extra things in there to, make us happy because you released 20 of the MP08s already. Then I think MP09 is where you start to where that's your Rodimus, then your MP10 obviously, and so on, and that those are your staples. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I would. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the trendsetters. I mean, it was like like I was saying earlier, like the MP09, like that is Rodimus Prime. That was not Hot Rod, even though it had that gimmick built in to where it could be both. If you bought the Takara, I got the Hasbro because I was like, whatever, I don't want to import this. And like now I'm looking back on that, I'm like, shit, I wish I imported that. But yeah.
That was the best, engineering as far as at the time. It was like, hey, we can give you two. We can give you the Rodimus, or if you don't, you can have the Hot Rod.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really nice. And then we focused on it more when Hasbro released it through Toys R Us, and it's like, okay, here you go. Here's the same mold, but you don't get the trailer, so it's pretty much,
But you get this Target Master.
Yeah, you get a Target Master and all that.
Which was not like it wasn't offered at all elsewhere.
Yeah. So, but even with, but it makes more sense now that MP09 turns into Rodimus since we now just got a Hot Rod.
Mm-hmm.
That's more into scale, and it's like, okay, now everyone's gonna probably want to go get an MP09, even though it's kind of,
to me,
scary.
I need to sell the Hasbro MP09 and buy the current one now, so I could have the Winnebago, whatever.
To me, it makes a lot of sense to call it MP09 because you had the Winnebago mode, but I don't know, for the displayability or playability even, you had a way of removing the car portion of that Winnebago, and I don't know, I think a lot of stuff really worked out for that mold, and I mean it was as finicky as it is. I love it. I mean, it's still like, I hate picking it up and transforming it, but I love it at the same time because it's so intuitive, I guess. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to mess with my MP28 yet because, I ordered another one and I didn't want to take this one out of its box, and it's in like, the box is in like great shape. And I get the other one here and that box is all beat up, and I'm like, shit, I gotta get this beat up ass box signed. So.
Yeah. That's true. I wonder if a lot of collectors, that worked out really well, that all of a sudden, here we go, it's the anniversary of the movie, we're getting Hot Rod, and then all of a sudden Judd Nelson is now the VIP at BotCon, so it's like,
I can't remember who I was talking to about that, but it was recent. I was like, man, wouldn't Judd Nelson be cool? Does he even do conventions? And like the response I got was, no, that's stupid, you're silly. And then that,
you must have been on the
all
forums.
these months later. Yeah, all these months later, and I saw that series of tweets come out. I pulled off over to the side of the road because I was driving, and I saw, oh, we brought this person, in all these years, and what could we possibly do to top that? I went to HLJ and ordered another MP28. I was like, that's it. It's gonna be it. And
yeah, you also get this like little bitty mini pizza cutter. So if like you got pizza
cutter, there you go.
Yeah, man.
So
overall, Josh, do you like it?
I don't know. I'm halfway done with the transformation.
All right.
The car mode looks amazing. The car mode's exactly what I want, but like seriously, like I'm halfway through it. Like this is where I'm at right now.
All right, cool.
So he's like a little stubby dude with a huge backpack. So haven't finished it yet.
Well, I need to ship that soon.
I can't wait.
It's like a lot of those first-time cosplayers.
Dude, side note, like getting Priority Mail Express International for like $11 is great.
What?
Yeah.
He said
Yeah,
the
like,
instructions actually say pizza cutter? Really?
What?
I can't read Japanese, so.
I don't think that I'm
You
not
lying
going
to
to
me?
buy from any U.S. sellers like ever again.
Yeah, as long as you're not going through like Robot Kingdom.
Oh,
No, I'm
dude,
not.
they're
Their
so
EMS,
expensive.
their EMS shipping is just I don't know what the hell, but HLJ is really good.
I know. I almost kind of feel like I'm robbing a HLJ a little bit. You know, I'm like,
Yeah, dude.
I'm like,
Dude, so
what was that?
I was gonna say for like just to get MP Rodimus shipped, Priority International was like $69. And it's
Whoa.
like U.S. sellers it starts out at like $74.99, and then
Yep.
I'd have to pay for shipping and all that other stuff. I'm like,
Yeah, he's
no,
in
I'm
my
good.
pile of loot.
Yeah, it only took like
Waiting.
4 days.
Yeah.
And then I ordered something from Matty Collector that's coming from California. It takes 2 damn weeks. And then Hobby Link Japan sends something from Japan. It gets here in like 4 days.
Yeah, dude, I was looking at the shipping and it was like, okay, so processed out of Tokyo at 6:30 a.m. Oh, hey, it arrived in Chicago at 5:30, or no, it arrived in Chicago at 11:30 a.m.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
like,
love
I
that.
don't know what plane that thing's flying on, but you know.
Seriously, dude, they like strap that thing to the bottom of an F-18 and like just drop it off, like.
All right.
So Hobby Link of Japan is fast, huh?
Yeah, but they sell out kind of
Yeah.
quickly, so you have to be
Quick.
careful of that.
Yeah.
That's the one downside to HLJ. Like even in pre-sales, like they'll keep the pre-sale up until they close it, and if for whatever reason they sold more, because I mean you don't pay until they process your order, like until they have the item in their hand and they process it to your order.
He's talking
So-
robot.
He is.
Am I still talking robot?
All right, Trent. Basically, if they have it up for sale, and they'll sometimes sell more than what they have available. So if you're not going to get that, you've already paid for it. So therefore, you're on back order. So now you're one of the back order clients.
Well, no, that's not it.
That's happened. What
You don't pay for it until they process it. At least not now.
Oh well.
Okay.
Yeah, because whenever I pre-ordered my Legends Black Arachnias, it made me wait until they processed it and had both of my figures in hand, and then they were like, "All right, look, we need you to pay." So,
Yeah, basically
but
before you
that is the
ship.
downside. Like, if you think you have a pre-order locked in, then you may be disappointed depending on how quickly you lock it in.
I just remember I paid for my Sentinel Black Zarek, and then I went back and got the Scorponaut, and I paid more in the shipping than the actual price of the toy. But I was like, damn, these things are usually like $600. I'm like, I'm getting this thing for like $2. That's with shipping. I'm like, yeah. And that's with the EMS, priority mail shipping and on a big fucking box. So it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. They're good. Anything else you guys want to talk about, or you guys want to end it there? We've been going on for, well, actually we started late, but it's been about an hour, 2 hours, hour. 45, so
I'm good to be done.
you're good to be done.
I'm good.
Everyone else will be good to be done.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you to all the live viewers. Really do appreciate and tuning into the show. We'll be back next week, 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here. Plastic Fanatics. Don't forget to check out the Cybercast after this. If you didn't see it, we have Pete Sinclair from BotCon, Transformers Collectors Club, on there, and got a little bit of some reveals and everything else. So go check that out. And don't forget to subscribe and like and all that. So let's do our outros, starting with Charles.
All right. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Optimus4Prez.
Awesome. Dakota.
You can find me everywhere at Primal Sabbath.
And Smoldy.
You can find me everywhere, Adultity and TFs.
Baby D.
Mr. J. Mr. J. Josh, that's you.
Oh, me? Okay.
Look,
I was looking for Jay. You can find me G1 Hexatron everywhere except for my Facebook page is the G1 Hexatron.
Cool. Trent's?
Find me at Twitter and Facebook at Trent's5.
Cool. And you can find me on Twitter, YouTube, VictorySaber77, and you can find me on Facebook, the VictorySaber77. Again, if you guys want to join, the live link will be on my Facebook page. You can join in, talk about stuff. I do spoilers, so if you don't want to hear it, then maybe you shouldn't join in. But other than that, though, it's free to everybody. So thanks again for watching. We will see you next week. See ya.